The sound of rustling leaves danced through the air as Wes crouched beside the babbling creek, his eyes scanning the landscape. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the Appalachian woods, but one peculiar sight caught his attention. A tent, forlorn and abandoned, tucked away behind a thicket of trees. It stood silently, as if time had forgotten it. He approached cautiously, the crunch of twigs beneath his worn boots breaking the stillness. The absence of a fire pit made the scene even more unsettling. What brought someone to this remote spot only to leave everything behind? A chill swept through the air. Even the birds seemed to sense something amiss. Throwing caution to the wind, he unzipped the tent flap, the zipper screeching like a banshee in the quiet woods. Inside, the dim light revealed a collection of books stacked haphazardly, local library books, their spines cracked and dog-eared, all bearing the same stamp, 1979. Titles about woodworking and carpentry, each page filled with the dreams of a life half-lived. Wes felt a pang in his chest. He could almost hear the echoes of enthusiasm, the scent of sawdust mingling with the crispness of the pages. A notebook lay in the corner, its pages filled with sketches of chairs and tables, each marked with a simple note. For Mom. The weight of those words lingered in the air, heavy with longing. Wes felt an ache, a connection to the unseen person who had once inhabited this space. Then he saw it. A half-finished letter nestled among the pages. It ended abruptly with the words, "I'll be back when I learn to build what I promised." The promise hung in the air, a haunting echo of unfulfilled dreams. As he stood there, heart racing, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled into someone's unfinished story. The police would be shocked by what he had found. He knew it. The name on the library card would be pivotal. This wasn't just an abandoned tent. It was a piece of someone's life left to decay, a whisper of the past, begging to be heard. Wes turned to leave, the weight of the discovery settling heavily on his shoulders. The chill of the evening wrapped around him as he made his way back to his truck. With each step, the rustling leaves seemed to murmur secrets of the woods, stories of loss, hope, and the relentless passage of time. Back at the ranger station, the radio crackled with static as he reported his discovery. The officer on the other end let out a low whistle when he heard the name linked to a decades-old missing persons case, someone who hadn't run away, but rather hidden from the weight of their own dreams. The drive home felt longer than usual, his thoughts swirling like the leaves in the wind. Memories of his father, a carpenter who spent hours in the workshop fixing broken chairs and silences, flooded his mind. Wes remembered the way his father's hands moved with care, shaping wood into something beautiful, something functional, a craft that told stories of its own. But could he just box up the findings and forget them? The weight of that decision settled in his gut, a knot he couldn't shake. Wes parked his truck on the gravel driveway, the crunch of stones beneath the tires echoing the turmoil in his mind. The sun had dipped below the horizon, casting a twilight glow over the small Appalachian town of Maplewood. It was a place where everyone knew each other's names, where stories intertwined like the gnarled roots of the ancient trees lining the main road. The familiar sights of his hometown, rustic diners, the old hardware store, and the church steeple rising above the rooftops, felt comforting yet suffocating. He stepped out, the cool evening air brushing against his skin. The chirping of crickets filled the silence, a gentle reminder that life continued despite the weight of the discovery pressing on him. Wes took a deep breath, trying to shake off the heaviness. He was just a park ranger, a man who spent his days hiking the trails and keeping watch over the woods. But now, he felt as if he had stumbled into a narrative that was far too complex for a simple life. As he walked up to his modest home, he glanced at the old swing hanging from the porch. It swayed gently in the breeze, reminiscent of simpler times, like the afternoons spent with his father, laughing and talking about everything and nothing. Their bond had been built on shared moments, the kind that shaped a man in his dreams. Wes could still hear his father's voice, explaining the intricacies of carpentry, weaving lessons about life into each conversation. Wood teaches you patience, his father would say. You've got to take your time, let the grain guide you. It's not just about what you make, it's about the process. The words echoed in Wes's mind, a mantra that had stuck with him through the years. Yet, despite those lessons, Wes felt a strong disconnect from the dreams he once shared with his father. The promise to build something of his own had faded into the background noise of life. A job, bills, responsibilities. As he walked inside, the familiar sense of coffee and pine lingered in the air. He flipped on the light, revealing the modest living room filled with his father's tools, each one holding a memory, each one a reminder of a skill he had yet to master. He settled into his favorite chair, the worn leather creaking beneath him as he flipped through the notebook he had found in the tent. The sketches of chairs and tables stared back at him, each one a symbol of an unfinished dream. The note for Mom tugged at his heart. Who was this person? What had driven them to such a secluded spot, and why had they left it behind? The questions swirled like the dust motes dancing in the light. He couldn't ignore the persistent ache to know more, to find the old house mentioned in the sketches. It felt like a calling, one that intertwined his past with the unknown story of another. That night sleep eluded him. He tossed and turned, the wind howling outside, as if echoing the turmoil within. The tent loomed in his mind, its secrets unraveling like threads from an old tapestry. What if the owner had simply wanted to escape the burdens of life? What if they had felt trapped like he did sometimes? The thought gnawed at him, pressing against his conscience. By dawn, Wes made up his mind. He needed to find the house on Main Street. He grabbed a cup of coffee and a simple breakfast before heading out, the sun rising slowly, casting a golden hue across the landscape. He could hear the faint hum of the radio in the background, an old country station playing nostalgic tunes that felt like echoes of the past. As he drove through Maplewood, nostalgia washed over him. Every building, every street corner held a memory. The diner where he and his friends had spent long evenings, the old high school where he once dreamed of making a name for himself, and the church where he had attended Sunday services with his family. But today, none of that mattered. Today, he was in search of a story. The houses began to thin out as he drove toward the outskirts of town. The pavement turned into gravel, and the trees loomed closer, their branches intertwined like skeletal fingers reaching toward the sky. As he approached the old house, it stood solitary and stoic, much like the abandoned tent. The paint was peeling, and the porch sagged under the weight of years gone by, but it still held an air of dignity, a testament to the life once lived within. Wes parked the truck and stepped out, his heart racing in his chest. He walked up the creaking stairs, each step a reminder of the weight of history he was about to confront. The porch was littered with leaves, remnants of seasons past, and the air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth. He knocked on the door, the sound echoing through the stillness. After what felt like an eternity, the door creaked open, revealing an elderly woman with silver hair tied back in a loose bun. Her eyes, a soft shade of blue, sparkled with curiosity but also bore the weight of time. "Can I help you?" she asked, her voice shaky yet filled with hope. Wes took a deep breath, glancing back at the rustling trees behind him. "I think I found something that belongs to you." As he spoke, he felt the gravity of the moment settle into the space between them. He pulled out the notebook, the sketches still fresh in his mind. The woman's eyes widened, a flicker of recognition crossing her face. "Where did you find this?" "In the woods, in an abandoned tent," Wes replied, feeling a mix of empathy and urgency. "I think it belonged to someone who—" A cloud of emotion passed over her face. "My son," she whispered, voice trembling. "He used to come here to think, to escape." Wes nodded, understanding flooding him. "He left a note. He wanted to learn to build something for you." Her gaze drifted to the ground, the weight of unspoken words lingering in the air. He had dreams, but life doesn't always go as planned. For a moment, silence enveloped them, the past hanging heavily in the space. Wes could see the longing in her eyes, the ache of a mother who had lost not just her son, but the promise of what could have been. "I didn't know he was hiding," she said softly, tears pooling in her eyes. "I thought he had just run away." Wes felt a lump form in his throat. He left behind a piece of himself. "I thought maybe you'd like to know how he was doing." The woman nodded slowly, her hands trembling as she reached for the notebook. "Thank you," she whispered, a mix of gratitude and grief in her voice. "Thank you for bringing him back to me, even if just for a moment." As he watched her examine the sketches, her fingers tracing over the lines, Wes felt a deep connection, as if he were witnessing a reunion of sorts, not just between a mother and her son, but between dreams and reality. "Do you mind if I come in?" Wes asked, the instinct to know more overwhelming him. "Of course," she replied, stepping aside as he entered the house. The interior was dimly lit, the air filled with the scent of aged wood and the faintest hint of lavender. Family photos adorned the walls, capturing moments frozen in time. A boy with a bright smile, a mother beaming with pride, moments that spoke of love and dreams unfulfilled. As they settled into the living room, the woman carefully opened the notebook, revealing pages filled with sketches, notes, and even a few pressed flowers. "He always loved this place," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "He used to say it was where he felt most alive." Wes leaned forward, intrigued by the sketches that seemed to tell a story of their own. "Did he ever finish any of these?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. "Not really," she replied, a hint of sorrow creeping into her voice. "He started a few projects but never saw them through. He was so talented, but life got in the way. He lost his way, I suppose." "Sometimes it's hard to find the right path," Wes said, reflecting on his own struggles. "I think we all have dreams we let slip away." The woman nodded, her gaze lingering on a sketch of a beautiful rocking chair. "He wanted to build furniture for me, things that would last. He wanted to create a legacy, something that would remind me of him." An idea began to take shape in Wes's mind, a flicker of inspiration igniting within him. "What if we helped him fulfill that dream?" he suggested carefully. "What if we took one of these designs and made it real? We could build it together as a tribute." The woman's eyes brightened, a spark of life returning to her features. "You would do that for me? For him?" Wes nodded, feeling the weight of the promise settle on his shoulders. "I would. I think it could help both of us find closure. You'd get to see his dream brought to life, and I could finally work with my hands again like my father taught me." Tears welled in her eyes, but this time they were tears of gratitude. "Thank you, dear. You have no idea how much this means to me. I've felt so lost without him." They spent hours discussing the sketches and the memories attached to each one. As daylight faded outside, the two shared stories, a mother reminiscing about her son's childhood, a man reflecting on his own father's lessons. Wes learned about the boy who used to carve small figures out of wood, who found joy in creating something from nothing. Eventually, they settled on a design, a simple yet elegant rocking chair that encapsulated the essence of love and dreams intertwined. The image of the chair filled Wes's mind, and he could almost hear his father's voice guiding him, encouraging him to embrace the challenge. As they finalized their plans, Wes felt a renewed sense of purpose. He would honor the dreams of someone he had never met, and in doing so, he would reconnect with his own aspirations, the ones he had buried beneath the weight of responsibility. "Let's meet here tomorrow," he suggested, excitement bubbling within him. "We can start gathering the materials and sketch out a plan." "Yes," the woman replied, her voice filled with determination. "I would like that very much." As he left the house that evening, the warmth of the woman's gratitude lingered in the air. The stars began to twinkle above him, the night sky stretching wide and infinite. Wes felt as though he was beginning a new chapter, not just for himself, but for a young man who had long been lost in the shadow of his unfulfilled dreams. The drive home was filled with a sense of anticipation, the hum of the engine matching the rhythm of his thoughts. He could picture the rocking chair, the smooth wood under his hands, the satisfaction of creating something meaningful. Once he arrived home, Wes took a moment to gather himself. He sat in the quiet of his living room, surrounded by his father's tools, and the memories flooded back. He could hear the gentle clinking of metal against wood, the soft sound of saws cutting through timber, and the laughter shared in the midst of hard work. It was time to reconnect with those lessons, to embrace the art of making. As the wind rustled against the house carrying whispers of the past, Wes felt renewed, ready to dive into the world of creation and promise once more. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of a journey, one that would bridge the gap between past and present, loss and hope. As he lay down to sleep, he closed his eyes, envisioning the rocking chair that would soon take shape. It would not just be a piece of furniture, it would be a testament to dreams, to the power of remembering, and to the enduring ties that bind us all. As dawn broke over the Appalachian hills, the soft light filtered through the trees, casting a warm glow on the porch, where Wes and the elderly woman, whom he now learned was named Clara, sat admiring their completed rocking chair. The gentle creaking of the chair echoed the quiet rustle of the leaves, creating a serene backdrop that felt almost sacred. It was a perfect morning for reflection, and the air was thick with a sense of accomplishment. "I can't believe we did this," Clara said, her voice a mixture of disbelief and joy. She ran her fingers along the polished surface of the chair, her touch reverent, as though she were caressing a long-lost friend. "It's more than just wood and nails. It feels alive." Wes nodded, feeling the weight of her words. "It really does. This chair carries memories now, of your son, of dreams unrealized but now honored." He took a deep breath, feeling a sense of fulfillment wash over him. The project had rekindled something deep within him, a spark that had dimmed over the years. "Would you like to sit in it?" Wes asked, motioning toward the newly crafted chair. Clara's eyes widened with excitement, and she nodded. "I would love to." Carefully she approached the chair, her movements steady and cautious as if she were walking on sacred ground. As she settled into the seat, a peaceful smile spread across her face, a wave of nostalgia evident in her gaze. The chair rocked gently beneath her and tears brimmed in her eyes. "This is where I can feel him," she whispered, a fragile smile breaking through. He would come home from school, exhausted but happy, and sit in my old rocking chair. He'd tell me about his day, all his grand ideas and plans. I miss that. Wes felt a knot form in his throat. "You've done something incredible, Clara. This isn't just a chair, it's a bridge between the past and the present." Clara smiled, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "Thank you for helping me honor him. It's like we've brought back a part of him that I thought was lost forever." They spent the morning reminiscing, exchanging stories about dreams and aspirations. Wes shared tales of his childhood, of afternoons spent in his father's workshop, learning how to mold wood into something beautiful. Clara spoke of her son's ambitions, the way he had once dreamed of traveling the world, exploring new places, and creating art from nature. "Sometimes life takes us down paths we never expected," she said, her voice softening. He wanted to build furniture for families, to create something lasting. But as time went on, he lost his way. Wes understood all too well. He had seen it happen in his own life, how responsibilities and disappointments could overshadow one's dreams. "But now you've created something that embodies his spirit. This chair is a reminder that it's never too late to embrace our passions," he said, feeling a surge of hope. Clara nodded, her expression thoughtful. "You're right. I've spent so many years mourning what was lost that I forgot to celebrate what remains. It's time for me to remember the joy he brought to my life and to carry that spirit with me." The two of them shared stories, laughter, and occasional tears as they reminisced about the past. The sun climbed higher in the sky, warming the porch and enveloping them in a cocoon of comfort. Wes felt a sense of peace settle over him, knowing they were both healing through this shared experience. As the day stretched on, Wes suggested they take the rocking chair for a spin, figuratively speaking. How about we put it in the garden? It would be nice to see it surrounded by flowers and nature. Clara's face lit up with excitement. That sounds perfect. He always loved being outside. They carefully lifted the chair and carried it to the garden, a vibrant space filled with blooming wildflowers and colorful plants. Clara pointed out her favorite spots, a hidden nook where she often sat to read and reflect. Let's put it right here, she said, indicating a sunny spot under a large oak tree. He would have liked it here, with the birds singing and the trees swaying. Once the chair was set in place, they stepped back to admire their handiwork. The rocking chair seemed to blend into the scenery, becoming part of the landscape rather than just a piece of furniture. It's beautiful, Wes said, taking in the sight. It looks like it's always belonged here. It does, Clara agreed, her voice tinged with satisfaction. It's as if it's come home. As they stood together, Wes felt a profound connection to Clara and her son. Their shared journey had transformed into something powerful, a celebration of life and the enduring bonds of love. This wasn't just about crafting a chair. It was about creating a vessel for memories, a reminder that even in loss there is beauty to be found. After a moment of silence, Clara turned to him. You've given me so much more than a chair, Wes. You've helped me reconnect with my son, and for that, I am eternally grateful. I've been so lonely for so long. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this journey with you, Wes replied, his heart swelling. I think we've both found something important in this process. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the garden, Clara suggested they enjoy a picnic on the porch. Let's celebrate our accomplishment, she said, her eyes twinkling. I'll make some sandwiches and grab a thermos of tea. Wes smiled at the thought. Sounds perfect. I'll help you. They moved back to the kitchen, where Clara began preparing the meal. Wes helped her gather the ingredients, enjoying the simple act of working alongside her. The kitchen filled with the sounds of clattering dishes and the aroma of fresh bread. While Clara prepared sandwiches, Wes set the table on the porch, placing fresh flowers in a vase and arranging the plates. It felt nice to create a welcoming space, and he found joy in being part of this moment. Do you think he would have liked this? Clara asked, her voice tinged with a mix of hope and longing. I think he would have loved sharing a meal with you and laughing over stories, Wes replied. Food has a way of bringing people together, even those who have passed on. Once they finished setting up, they settled onto the porch, enjoying the snacks Clara had prepared. The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon with brilliant hues of orange and pink. This is lovely, Clara said, taking a sip of her tea. It feels like a celebration of life. Wes nodded, taking in the moment. It really does. It's important to celebrate the small things, the moments that bring us joy. They shared laughter and stories, each bite of the sandwiches filled with a sense of camaraderie and warmth. With every laugh, Wes felt a connection growing, a bond forged through their shared experiences. As Clara spoke about her son's mischievous childhood antics, Wes found himself lost in the warmth of her memories, laughter spilling over as they reminisced. They swapped tales of failure and triumph, of dreams deferred and hopes rekindled. After the meal, Clara leaned back in her chair, a contented sigh escaping her lips. Thank you for today, Wes. I feel like I've rediscovered a piece of myself that I thought was lost. Wes smiled softly, touched by her words. I feel the same way. I never realized how much I needed this too. Working with my hands again has reminded me of who I am. Your father would be proud, Clara said, her eyes shimmering with understanding. You've carried on his legacy in more ways than one. Thank you, Wes replied, humbled by her words. It means a lot to hear that. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm golden light over everything, Clara turned to Wes with a newfound determination in her gaze. I want to do more, Wes. I want to honor my son by helping others who may feel lost. just like I did for so long. Wes felt a surge of inspiration pulse through him. That's a beautiful idea, Clara. You could start a workshop, teaching others to create, to build, to dream again. Clara's eyes sparkled with excitement. Yes, I could show them how to craft furniture to connect with their creativity. It could be a place for healing, for sharing stories. I would love to help you with that, Wes said, feeling the excitement build. We could start small, maybe even host classes here in your garden. It would be a way to bring the community together. That sounds perfect, Clara replied, her enthusiasm infectious. I can already picture it. The sounds of laughter, the smell of fresh wood, people working together to create something beautiful. It's time to bring joy back into this space. As they spoke, the night air filled with the sounds of crickets chirping and the gentle rustle of leaves. The rocking chair stood silently by, a silent witness to their dreams taking shape. Let's do it, Wes said, excitement coursing through him. Let's honor your son's dreams and build something beautiful together. Clara grinned, the sparkle in her eyes brightening the night. Yes, together we can help others find their way back to their passions. As they shared their visions, Wes felt hope blooming within him. The journey had transformed them both. What began as a simple project had turned into something much greater. They were no longer just two people brought together by loss. They were now bound by a shared purpose. In the days that followed, they began to plan the workshop, gathering ideas and materials. Clara poured her heart into creating a welcoming environment, and Wes helped her establish a curriculum that would inspire creativity and connection. Word spread quickly through the town, and soon neighbors began to show interest. Clara was amazed at how many people were eager to join. The idea of creating a space where others could come together to learn and share resonated deeply within the community. On the day of the first workshop, Clara stood on the porch, her heart racing with excitement. Wes arrived early, carrying boxes of tools and materials, ready to help set up. I can't believe we're really doing this, Clara said, her voice a mix of nerves and anticipation. Just remember, it's all about having fun and creating connections, Wes encouraged her, lifting a box filled with wood pieces. Let's make this a welcoming and joyful space. As participants began to arrive, Clara greeted each one with a warm smile, her excitement infectious. People from all walks of life gathered, some young, some old, each bringing their own stories and dreams. Wes watched as Clara led the group with enthusiasm, her passion shining through as she shared her vision for the workshop. This is a place where we can all come together to create, to learn, and to support one another, she said, her voice steady and reassuring. With Wes's guidance, they started with simple projects, a small birdhouse, a picture frame, and even a simple stool. Laughter and chatter filled the air, and the sound of tools working together became a symphony of creativity. As the day unfolded, Wes felt a sense of belonging wash over him. He watched as Clara interacted with participants, encouraging them to explore their creativity, to embrace the process of making. Her joy was contagious, and he felt inspired by her determination to honor her son's legacy by helping others. Hours flew by, and the workshop thrived in a joyous atmosphere. Clara moved from one station to the next, her enthusiasm igniting a spark in each participant. Wes joined in, offering tips and sharing stories of his own journey in woodworking, relating to the struggles and triumphs of the newcomers. By the end of the day, as the sun dipped low in the sky, the garden transformed into a colorful tapestry of projects, each one a reflection of the people who had poured their hearts into them. Clara stood back, surveying the scene with tears of joy in her eyes. "We did it," she exclaimed, her voice filled with exhilaration. "Look at what we've created together." Wes felt a swell of pride in his chest. "This is just the beginning, Clara. You've created a space where people can find their way back to what they love." As they gathered around to admire the finished projects, the participants shared their stories, their hopes, and their dreams. The sense of community was palpable, and Wes felt the weight of the past lift from his shoulders. For the first time in years, he felt truly alive. In that moment, he understood that the journey of creation was not just about crafting objects. It was about building connections, healing wounds, and celebrating the stories that bind us all. As the sun set over the garden, casting a warm glow on their creations, Wes and Clara exchanged glances filled with understanding. They had both found their purpose in this journey, and together, they had honored the dreams of a young man who would forever live on in their hearts. With the promise of more workshops to come, they felt a renewed sense of hope. Their paths intertwined, forging a brighter future for themselves and the community they had come to cherish. And in the gentle rocking of the chair, which now sat proudly in the garden, they could almost hear the echoes of laughter and dreams, a reminder that love never fades, and that sometimes, the most beautiful creations arise from the ashes of loss. The sun rose slowly over the Appalachian landscape, casting a soft golden hue across the garden where Wes and Clara had spent so many meaningful days together. The scent of fresh wood and blooming flowers mingled in the air, creating a serene atmosphere that felt almost sacred. Today was special. They would unveil the first completed piece from the workshop to the community. Wes arrived early, excitement bubbling within him. The workshop had exceeded their expectations, attracting people from all walks of life eager to embrace their creativity. Clara had transformed from a grieving mother into a beacon of hope, rallying the community around the idea of turning dreams into reality. He parked his truck, filled with the final touches for the event, colorful ribbons, refreshments, and, of course, the beautifully crafted rocking chair that now stood proudly in the garden. As Wes carried the rocking chair to the center of the gathering, he noticed Clara setting up a table adorned with wildflowers. The vibrant colors brought life to the space, and he couldn't help but admire how she had turned the garden into a magical place. "Morning, Clara," he called out, grinning as he approached her. "Good morning, Wes," she replied, looking up with a smile that radiated warmth. "I can't believe today is finally here. The excitement is almost tangible." Wes set the rocking chair down gently and stepped back to admire it. "It looks incredible out here. I think people will be amazed." Clara nodded, her eyes shining. "I can't wait to see their reactions. This chair represents so much. It's not just a piece of furniture. It's a connection to dreams and memories." As the morning unfolded, neighbors and friends began to arrive, their faces lit with curiosity and anticipation. Laughter filled the air, mingling with the sounds of nature, creating a symphony of joy. Wes felt a thrill coursing through him. This was more than just an unveiling. It was a celebration of life, dreams, and community. Once everyone had gathered, Clara stepped forward, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "Thank you all for being here today. This workshop has become a labor of love, and we owe it all to the support of this wonderful community." Wes stood beside her, feeling an overwhelming sense of pride. He had watched Clara blossom into a leader, and her passion was infectious. Today, we reveal the first creation from our workshop, a rocking chair that embodies the spirit of dreams, love, and connection. As he gestured toward the chair, a hush fell over the crowd. They leaned in, eyes wide with anticipation. Clara stepped forward, her hands trembling slightly as she reached for the chair, gently turning it to showcase the expert craftsmanship. The sunlight glinted off the polished wood, making it shine like a beacon. "This chair is dedicated to my son," Clara began, her voice quavering slightly but strong. "He had dreams of creating furniture that would bring comfort and joy to families. With each piece we build in this workshop, we honor his memory and the dreams of everyone who walks through these doors." The crowd erupted into applause, and Wes felt a lump form in his throat. Clara's words resonated deeply within him, echoing the sentiments they had shared throughout the journey of creating the workshop. This was more than a physical chair. It was a testament to resilience, hope, and the enduring bonds of family. "Today we invite each of you to take part in creating something of your own," Clara continued, her enthusiasm infectious. "Let's honor our dreams together." With that, the atmosphere shifted into one of vibrant energy. The participants, a mix of ages and backgrounds, began to gather around various workstations set up in the garden. Wes moved among them, offering assistance and encouragement, feeling invigorated by their eagerness. As the day unfolded, laughter and chatter filled the air. People grabbed tools, wood, and paint, inspired to create small projects that reflected their individuality. Wes found himself working alongside a group of children, teaching them how to use simple tools to craft birdhouses. Their eyes sparkled with excitement as they saw their visions come to life. "Look, I made a door!" one little girl exclaimed, her voice bubbling with joy as she held up her creation for everyone to see. "Great job," Wes encouraged, feeling a warmth in his heart as he watched the children's faces light up. "That's going to be a cozy home for a little bird." Meanwhile, Clara moved from group to group, offering her guidance and sharing her own experiences. She was a natural leader, her enthusiasm contagious, as she inspired participants to push the boundaries of their creativity. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the garden, the workshop reached its climax. Participants gathered to share their completed projects, a showcase of the creativity that had flourished throughout the day. Clara stood alongside Wes, her eyes sparkling with pride as they admired the fruits of their labor. "Look at everything that's been created," she exclaimed, her voice filled with disbelief and joy. "These are not just objects. They are expressions of hope and dreams." Wes chuckled, glancing at the array of colorful projects on display. "It's incredible to see how everyone has poured their hearts into this. This is just the beginning." As twilight descended, Clara took a moment to address the crowd once more. "Thank you all for coming today and for believing in this vision. Together, we've created something special. Let's continue to support one another and keep the spirit of creativity alive in our community." The applause that followed was thunderous, a beautiful affirmation of the connections that had been forged that day. Wes felt a swell of gratitude for Clara and the journey they had shared, knowing that they had turned loss into something profoundly beautiful. As the celebration continued, Wes and Clara found a moment to step aside, taking a breather from the festivities. They stood near the rocking chair, now positioned prominently in the garden, surrounded by the laughter and joy of the community. "I can't believe how far we've come," Clara said, her voice filled with wonder. "This workshop has brought so much healing, not just for me, but for everyone involved." Wes nodded, feeling a deep connection to her words. It's amazing how creativity can be a vehicle for healing. We've created a space where people can come together and share their stories. "Thank you for believing in this vision with me," Clara said, her eyes shimmering with gratitude. "You've made a difference in so many lives, including mine." Wes felt a warmth spread through him at her words. "I couldn't have done it without you, Clara. You're the heart of this workshop." As they exchanged smiles, a sense of fulfillment washed over them. They had taken a journey together that had transformed not only their lives, but the lives of many in their community. This workshop had become a sanctuary for dreams and creativity, a place where people could rediscover their passions and connect with one another. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Clara turned to Wes, her expression contemplative. "You know, I think we should create a special day dedicated to honoring dreams, an annual event to celebrate creativity and community. We can invite guest speakers, host workshops, and share stories." Wes felt a thrill of excitement at her idea. "That's a brilliant concept. It would keep the spirit of this workshop alive and inspire others to pursue their dreams." Clara's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. "We can call it Dream Day, a celebration of creativity, art, and the stories that unite us all." "I love it," Wes replied, his heart racing with the possibilities. "Let's start planning it. This could become a beautiful tradition." As they stood together gazing up at the stars, they felt a profound sense of purpose solidifying within them. They were no longer just two individuals brought together by loss. They had become a team, champions of hope, creativity, and community. The night continued with laughter, music, and the joyous commotion of people celebrating their creations. Wes and Clara moved among the crowd, sharing stories and ideas, their hearts filled with gratitude for the connections they had fostered. As the evening drew to a close, Clara turned to Wes and said, "Whatever happens from here, we've made a difference. We've created something beautiful together." Wes smiled, feeling a wave of emotion wash over him. "Yes, we have, and it's only the beginning." With that, they stood side by side, watching as the community celebrated the spirit of creativity, a vibrant tapestry of dreams woven together by shared stories and a journey of healing. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and joy, they knew that the echoes of love and hope would continue to resonate far beyond the confines of their workshop, forever changing lives and inspiring dreams. The months rolled by swiftly in the Appalachian town of Maplewood, and the echoes of Dream Day lingered in the hearts of everyone who had participated in that inaugural event. It had sparked a flame of creativity that seemed to burn brighter with each passing season. Clara and Wes had established a rhythm to their work in the workshop, a place that had transformed into a lively hub of inspiration, learning, and shared stories. Today, however, felt different. Wes stood at the entrance of the workshop, gazing out over the lush landscape that surrounded them. The air was crisp and the leaves were beginning to turn, their brilliant colors painting the hills in shades of gold, crimson, and burnt orange. He felt a sense of anticipation coursing through him. With each passing day, they had welcomed more and more members into their community, and today they were preparing for the second annual Dream Day. Clara approached from behind, her voice carrying a buoyant energy as she joined him. "Can you believe it's been a whole year since we started this journey?" she asked, her eyes glinting with excitement. Wes turned and smiled. "It feels like just yesterday we were unveiling that rocking chair, and now look at how far we've come." Clara beamed. "The workshop has become a sanctuary for so many people. I've seen individuals blossom, rediscover their passions, and connect with each other. It warms my heart." The workshop had evolved into a place of healing, where people of all ages gathered to craft, share, and support one another. They had started a mentorship program, pairing seasoned woodworkers with novices eager to learn. The sound of tools being used, laughter, and shared stories filled the air, creating an environment rich with camaraderie. "Have you finalized the schedule for today?" Wes asked, eager to ensure that everything was in place for their big event. "Almost. I've lined up a few local artisans to speak about their journeys and how they transformed their dreams into tangible realities. We'll have workshops running all day, and I've even organized a small gallery to showcase some of the participants' work," Clara replied, her voice brimming with enthusiasm. "Sounds perfect," Wes said, feeling a surge of pride. "It's going to be an incredible day." As the sun climbed higher, Clara and Wes set to work. They arranged tables, set up displays for the various projects, and prepared the outdoor space for the expected crowd. The atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as they transformed the familiar workshop into a vibrant celebration of creativity. As the first guests began to arrive, Wes felt a familiar mixture of nerves and excitement flutter in his stomach. He greeted the participants warmly, welcoming returning faces and new ones alike. Many had come to discover their creativity, while others had returned to share their progress since last year. Clara moved among the guests, her spirit infectious. She introduced new members to the workshop and facilitated conversations, weaving connections between people who might not have met otherwise. Wes watched as she effortlessly brought people together, her passion shining brightly in the joy she brought to others. The first workshop began shortly thereafter. Wes led a session on basic woodworking techniques, demonstrating how to use hand tools to create simple yet functional pieces. The eager faces around him were filled with curiosity and excitement as they learned to shape the wood under their hands. The sound of laughter mixed with the rhythmic clatter of tools resonated through the workshop, creating a symphony of creation. As the day progressed, Clara introduced guest speakers who shared their stories of resilience and the importance of following one's dreams. Each tale inspired the audience, fueling their passion and encouraging them to embrace their creativity. Wes felt a sense of pride swell within him as he watched the participants lean in, captivated by the stories that echoed the sentiments they had all experienced. "My journey has not been easy," one guest speaker shared, her voice steady. "But it has taught me resilience and the importance of community. None of us need to go through our struggles alone. We can uplift one another, and that's what makes us stronger." Wes caught Clara's eye, and they exchanged smiles. The workshop's mission had manifested beautifully, bridging the gaps between dreams and reality. It was a profound reminder of what they had built together. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden light over the garden, the participants gathered to showcase their creations. Each piece told a story, reflecting the growth and exploration that had taken place throughout the day. Clara and Wes moved from table to table, admiring the artistry and effort that had gone into each project. "Look at this," Clara exclaimed, pointing to a beautifully crafted wooden birdhouse adorned with intricate carvings. "This is simply stunning. The detail is incredible." Wes nodded, genuinely impressed. "It's amazing how each piece holds a personal story. You can see the love and care that went into every creation." As the evening continued, they held a small ceremony to honor the participants. Clara stepped forward, her voice filled with emotion as she addressed the crowd. "Tonight we celebrate not just the work we've created, but the connections we've built. This workshop is about more than just crafting. It's about community and the power of dreams." Wes watched as Clara's words resonated with everyone gathered. They had formed bonds that transcended the fear of pursuing dreams, and the enthusiasm in the air was palpable. "We're all dreamers here," Clara continued, "and together we can rise to new heights. Let's continue to support one another, to share our passions, and to inspire those around us." As the crowd erupted into applause, Wes felt a swell of gratitude for the journey they had undertaken together. The sense of community had grown exponentially, and he could see the shared commitment to nurturing creativity in one another's lives. After the ceremony, laughter and chatter filled the air as people moved freely among the tables, sharing stories and admiring one another's work. Clara and Wes made their way over to the rocking chair, now a beloved symbol of their journey. It stood proudly at the center of the garden, a reminder of the dreams that had turned into reality. "Do you remember the first time we revealed this chair?" Clara asked, her eyes glistening with nostalgia. "Of course," Wes replied, a smile spreading across his face. "I remember the emotion in your voice and the way the community rallied around it. It was a pivotal moment for both of us." Clara nodded, her gaze fixed on the chair. "And now look at how far we've come. This space has become a sanctuary for creativity, just as we dreamed it would be." As the stars began to twinkle overhead, Wes and Clara reflected on their journey, the trials they had faced and the triumphs they had celebrated. They had transformed grief into hope and had built a community that thrived on creativity. "Thank you for being my partner in this journey, Wes," Clara said softly, her voice filled with gratitude. "You've helped me honor my son's memory in ways I never thought possible." Wes felt a lump in his throat. "And you've inspired me to reconnect with my own dreams, Clara. Together we've created something truly special." As the night deepened, Clara turned to him with a bright smile. "So what's next for us, partner?" "I think we keep going," Wes said, his heart swelling with determination. "There are countless stories waiting to be told and dreams waiting to be realized. Let's keep building this community and inspire even more people to embrace their creativity." Clara's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I love that idea. Together, we'll continue to make a difference." As the laughter and joy of the evening surrounded them, Wes and Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had transformed loss into hope, and they knew that their journey was far from over. The workshop had become a testament to resilience, a space where dreams thrived, and the echoes of creativity would continue to inspire generations to come. And as they stood side by side beneath the vast night sky, they felt a profound connection to the stories and dreams that had woven them together. An unbreakable bond forged in the spirit of creativity, love, and the pursuit of something greater than themselves. As winter settled over Maplewood, the town transformed into a picturesque wonderland, blanketed in soft white snow. The workshop, a hub of warmth and creativity, buzzed with excitement as Clara and Wes prepared for the second annual Dream Day. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the cheerful sounds of laughter, a welcome contrast to the chill outside. "Can you believe it's been a whole year since we started this journey?" Clara remarked, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "It feels like just yesterday we unveiled that rocking chair," Wes replied, smiling. "And now look at how far we've come." Clara's heart swelled with pride as she thought about the impact their workshop had on the community. It had grown into a sanctuary for creativity, where people of all ages gathered to craft, share, and support one another. The holiday season was a time of reflection, and she felt a deep sense of purpose as they prepared for the upcoming event. "I've been thinking," Clara said, her voice brimming with excitement. "What if we organized a charity event? We could invite artisans to donate handmade items for families in need." Wes's eyes lit up at the idea. "That's a brilliant idea. We could hold a holiday market where people can buy these items and all proceeds go to local charities. It would not only help those in need, but also bring the community together." With a shared vision, they began to plan the event. They reached out to local artisans, inviting them to contribute to the market. As word spread, excitement within the community grew, and people rallied around the idea of giving back. Clara and Wes worked tirelessly, organizing stations for crafting, arranging displays, and preparing for the big day. On the day of the market, the workshop transformed into a festive space, adorned with colorful lights and the inviting aroma of hot cocoa wafting through the air. Clara and Wes greeted attendees with bright smiles, their hearts swelling with gratitude as they saw friendly faces mingling with newcomers, all united by the spirit of giving. "Welcome to our holiday market," Clara announced, her voice ringing out joyfully. "Today we celebrate creativity, community, and the spirit of giving." The atmosphere buzzed with energy as attendees browsed an array of handmade items, decorated ornaments, wooden toys, knitted scarves, and more. Wes and Clara moved among the crowd, engaging with everyone, encouraging them to support local artisans and share in the joy of creating something special for others. "Look at this beautiful ornament," Wes exclaimed, showcasing a delicate wooden star. "Each one is unique and made with care. By purchasing these items, you're not just taking home a piece of art, you're supporting someone's dream and helping those in need." As the day progressed, laughter and chatter filled the workshop. Families gathered around crafting stations, painting ornaments, and trying their hands at woodworking. The joy in the air was palpable, and Wes felt a deep sense of fulfillment as he watched the community come together, united by creativity and purpose. When the sun began to set, Clara gathered everyone for a brief ceremony. "Thank you for being here today, for supporting this wonderful cause. Your contributions will make a difference in the lives of those in our community, and we are so grateful." The crowd erupted into applause, and Wes felt a swell of pride as Clara's words resonated deeply with everyone present. It was a remarkable reminder of how far they had come, from two individuals navigating their grief to a collective force for good within their community. As the event came to a close, Clara and Wes stood together, taking in the scene around them. The workshop was alive with laughter, stories, and the spirit of giving, a vibrant tapestry of lives touched by creativity. "We did it," Clara said, her eyes glistening. "We've created something beautiful together." "Yes, and it's only the beginning," Wes replied, feeling warmth spread through him. "This workshop has become a home for so many. We're making a difference, one project at a time." With the last guests departed, they began to tidy up the workshop, their hearts full from the day's events. They reflected on the impact they had made not only by providing a space for creativity, but also by fostering a sense of belonging in a world that sometimes felt isolating. "Let's make this an annual event," Clara suggested, her excitement evident. "We can build upon this momentum and create new opportunities for the community to come together." Wes nodded enthusiastically. "Absolutely. Each year we can expand it, invite more artisans, and even involve local schools in the crafting process." As they finished cleaning, Clara turned to Wes, her expression sincere. "I couldn't have done any of this without you. You've been my rock in this journey and I'm so grateful." Wes felt a lump in his throat. "And you've inspired me to reconnect with my own dreams, Clara. Together, we've created something truly special." Stepping outside into the crisp night air, they took a moment to appreciate the tranquility surrounding them. The sky was a blanket of stars, twinkling in the darkness. "Do you want to take a moment to reflect on what we've accomplished?" Clara asked, her voice soft. "I'd love to," Wes replied, savoring the quiet. "I never imagined that this workshop would become such a beacon of hope. It's amazing how we've turned our pain into purpose." Clara nodded, her gaze fixed on the night sky. "Even in our darkest moments we can find light, especially when we come together as a community." As they returned inside, Clara paused to admire the rocking chair that stood proudly in the garden. "It all started with that chair, didn't it?" "Yes, it did," Wes agreed, a smile crossing his face. "It became a symbol of our journey and the dreams we've chosen to pursue." With renewed determination, they knew that their journey was far from over. The workshop would continue to be a place of healing, creativity, and inspiration. Together, they would nurture the spirit of community, forging a path of hope that would last for generations to come. As winter settled over Maplewood, the anticipation for the second annual Dream Day filled the workshop with excitement. Clara and Wes gathered one crisp morning, reviewing their plans for the event. With the success of last year's holiday market still fresh in their minds, they were eager to once again foster a spirit of creativity in the community. "We've made such an impact already," Wes remarked, flipping through the event schedule. "This year, we should include even more workshops and activities to engage everyone." Clara's eyes sparkled. "Absolutely. Each artisan brings their unique story, and that's what makes this event special. I can't wait for everyone to learn from them." Just then, the phone rang. It was the principal of a local school, excited to collaborate. "We'd like to involve our students in this year's Dream Day," she said. "It would be a great opportunity for them to learn and create alongside local artisans." Clara and Wes exchanged enthusiastic glances. "That sounds fantastic," Clara replied. "We'd love to have the students participate. It's a wonderful way to inspire the youth." The principal explained that a group of students would join the workshop, taking part in various crafts and culminating in their own creations for the event. Clara and Wes eagerly agreed, thrilled at the prospect of nurturing the next generation of creators. As Dream Day approached, the workshop buzzed with energy as they prepared. Clara and Wes set up crafting tables, created a cozy storytelling nook, and arranged a stage for guest speakers. The day of the event arrived, and the workshop was alive with laughter and excitement as families and students flooded in. Wes led a woodworking workshop for children, showing them how to carve simple shapes and create small projects. Clara facilitated storytelling sessions, encouraging attendees to share their creative journeys. The connection among participants was palpable, creating an atmosphere of support and authenticity. As the sun began to set, Clara gathered everyone for a final celebration. "Thank you all for being here today and for sharing your creativity," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "We celebrate not just our dreams, but the community we've built together." Wes nodded in agreement. "This workshop is about connection, support, and inspiration. Let's keep the spirit of creativity alive." As applause filled the room, Clara felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. This was more than just a workshop. It was a celebration of resilience and creativity. The evening continued with laughter and shared creations, and Clara and Wes found themselves surrounded by a community that felt like family. They exchanged knowing smiles, understanding that their journey was far from over. Together they would continue to inspire, dream, and create. Under the twinkling stars above, they realized they were part of something larger, a legacy of hope and creativity that would echo through generations, shaping the dreams of many to come.